Good morning and welcome to the Auckland Bowls Champion, the Hunter Bowls Champion peers here at the picturesque and historic Auckland Bowling Club here this overcast Sunday morning in Auckland. And this morning we'll be concentrating on the women's semi-final match that between Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen of Onehunga Districts. They're Joe McKenna and Jenny Stockford, my apologies, of Point Chevalier up against the New Lynn combination of Paris Baker and Olivia Blomfield. The other semi-final, which has just got underway here in Auckland, is the Onehunga District combination of Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen up against Elisa Prideaux and Karen Hema of the Carlton Cornwall Club. And then this afternoon, well, at around 12 o'clock, we will see the semi-final of the men's champion peers get underway, and we'll have Danny Delaney up against Scott Harrison, with Danny Delaney playing with David Motu, and Tony Marinkovic playing with Scott Harrison, up against Richard Kempthorne and Roger Johnson, and the last year's defending champions and, of course, winners of the New Zealand Pathway pairs, Jamie Williams and Leif Selby of Carlton Cornwall. Those games will get underway later on this morning. This morning we'll feature just this semi-final match, and of course we'll keep you updated with scores on the other semi-final match. So the game we're covering, playing the first end, is Joe McKenna leading for Jenny Stockford and Paris Baker leading for Olivia Blomfield. And welcome to Gerald Holst, who is alongside me here. And we're going to get a good day's play. Not going to get any rain over Gerald, I don't think.
No, I've asked the weather goddess for fine weather, so it's generally just what I pray for.
Right, so first end is underway, and I see, so it's, I had that wrong, it's Jenny Stockfield that's leading, is that correct? Stockford?
Stockford.
Jenny Stockford, in fact, is leading, and Joe McKenna skipping, my apologies. Stockford, of course, very well accomplished player, remembered in the Point Chevalier Bowls 3-5 combination, and Olivia Blomfield also very well performed Auckland player, done well in a number of events, and the first end has come to completion, and I'll just and it was a 1 to the Paris Baker Olivia Blomfield combination. That's the New Lynn combination. Now here at the Auckland Bowling Club we're playing away from, I would call it the museum end or the reserve end, playing up towards the road. So we're playing, that's the direction that we're playing in today. Jack's been delivered by the Paris Baker. Of course, they're now checking to see whether the jack is up on the length. Looks to, so it's not. It's going back, and of course Paris Baker, winner of the World Under-25 Indoor Singles in the UK a couple of years back. Very accomplished bowler. Gerald, who's got a huge potential, and I'd really like to see it being realised.
I agree with you there. A very, very accomplished bowler. I was down in Dunedin when Paris and Olivia won the Champ pairs last year, and certainly a very accomplished bowler. Lots of promise there.
Lots of promise, and let's hope that she finds a way to maximise that in her potential, which she certainly has as a player. So here is Baker from the New Lynn Club, wearing their UBC tops.
Hoodie. Yeah, the hoodie. Yeah.
Both wearing them the another one of the formats. It's the televised formats. It's been introduced in both Australia and New Zealand. I believe it's a qualifying event to be played here in the not too distant future. Green Hero Madge and Gerald will be running about 15 seconds. Would that be about right?
Yeah, that'll be about right. It is a little bit heavy today.
And it's because it's starweed green as well, isn't it? Or it's a mix.
It's a bit of a mixture of both, yeah, starweed and cotula.
So one would think that the pace that we've got now may lift slightly during the day, but most likely would stay pretty much around that. Now there's another event going on here. What's that event which is going on here?
We have the 1 to 5 pairs. the Auckland 1 to 5 pairs.
So those are playing on the adjacent rings, and that's mixed. Is it
Mixed pairs. Any combination pairs?
Any combination. So they're into post-section play as well, or is it just
no? We had 56 entries, and this year we've trialed the new system of win 2 game, play 3, win 2,
Yes.
and you qualify.
Yes.
And we had a very good uptake on that, and of the 56 teams that entered, 28 qualified.
Well, it's the exact number that you want, isn't it?
Exactly right. It was a beautiful number. Yeah.
So here is the Stockford on the backhand on this second indication from Joe McKenna that Joe just needs to understand that she's giving hand signals out in front of the camera. Someone needs just to tell her that,
These women here played yesterday at Balmoral, and Balmoral was a very fast and very slick green. And I just think that both of them might take a little bit of a time to just adjust to the different pace of this green.
Yeah, that's and we see this last bowl of Paris Baker just run into the front bowl of Jenny Stockford on the backhand now. Stockford will want to try and just improve by a metre on her backhand, beat those front bowls to give a shot when they change over. We're certainly on a better track with this bowl than her the 2 previous bowls as it comes towards the head now, but it's going to go by. And it's a shot at this stage to the Newland combination. Jack level bowl there, but there's plenty of room, Jura, isn't there, to... there's no shortage of room to draw the shot there.
No, there's no shortage of room to draw the shot there, either hand. And both of them are capable of doing that as well.
I must also, as the skips in that changeover, pass congratulations on to a former Auckland player, former Auckland representative player, Crystal Aleve, who was successful on Friday in winning the Queensland State Triples, playing with Aaron Sheriff, leading for the Aaron Sheriff skip side, and they beat Ryan Burnett in the final. So congratulations to Chris to get. Always nice to get something like a Queensland title. They're not easy to get over there.
No title's easy to get. But it's interesting you talk about Chris. He was a junior bowler when I first started at Rawiti Bowling Club.
Yes, he would have. Been there. Yeah,
very nice guy to bowl with. Yeah.
He's a young fellow that's come from, at about 16 years of age, his parents were told he wouldn't last the night.
Oh.
And they got meningococcal disease, which is normally fatal, as we see McKenna just resting on the shot bowl, the very good bowler Olivia Blomfield played. Anyway, so Chris saw his way through and recuperated from it and started playing bowls. He was a very good. In fact, he was in the Howard College first 15 at the time, and decided then to take up playing bowls. And he actually started playing bowls, playing with a walking stick, because he had very little power in his legs at all. And then worked his way through and became, part of the New Zealand high performance squad, of course, a winner of 5 New Zealand titles, and now he's a leading bowler in Queensland.
Oh well, I take it then he's living in Australia.
Yes, he is. He's the sort of 2IC to the Musgrave Hill Bowling Club on the Gold Coast. His boss there is another former New Zealand player, in Brian Boardman, who moved to the Gold Coast a number of years ago, and Chris is Brian Baldwin's 2IC at Musgrave Hills.
Okay.
So here is Blomfield after drawing the shot with her first on the backhand, fairly full length head on the backhand, playing parallel to the club rooms here of this historic club.
I think he's gone to cover at the back.
Well, there's literally only that reaching play through the bowl shot, because they haven't got. There's a bowl behind the way down past the 2 metre mark, a Jenny Stockford bowl. It would need some decent shove, I would say, to be able to move that. Just delivery. At flick delivery, it's always got, in my view, lends itself to possibly some inconsistencies at delivery. and no change to the head, and it is another one to the New Lynn side. So they've gone to a 2-0 lead, and I can tell you in the other semi-final, it is Lisa Prideaux and Karen Hema of Carlton Cornwall leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen 2-0 after the completion of the first end. So Jack's been delivered by Paris Breaker, 18 ends, as you'll see up there on the scoreboard at the top left hand. And if you want to, of course, watch any of the live action, tell your friends, whoever, neighbours. If they go to the Auckland Bowls website, I'm sure that will put them on a direct link onto the Auckland Bowls YouTube setup, which they've got, and you can watch all of the live action.
Umpire long measure.
So out comes the umpire.
Umpire today is Phil Bowden, looking after the A green. Very experienced umpire he is too. Earning his keep today. Must be up 23 metres, Phil.
Yeah, well, it was similar to the last end, where of course it didn't reach the required 23 metres, and I see in the other semi-final Lisa Prideaux has the mat again, and it was a single scored on the second end to the Prideaux Hema combination. It's Lisa Prideaux, very, very accomplished player. Won the New Zealand Peers, playing with the great Val Smith twice and beaten semi-finalists, so very, very accomplished player.
See that throwing the jack, the short hands right now just goes to show they haven't quite got the pace of the green yet. Yesterday those bowls, those jacks would have gone straight into the ditch, and they're just not quite adjusting to this slightly slower green.
Well, of course, with that Jura, they have to change there. And we saw this even, in fact, last week at 9i at the Bowls 3-5 when they played we had the 3 lengths of which the jack could be placed at, and the number of players who struggled to get their green right when they played the shorter, to the shortest possible circle. A number of the players struggled to get their line, and it's the same here as we see Stockford trying to get inside that opening bowler, Paris Baker, getting back to the centre line, and does. It's always a good sign. Green's running very good, but you know that send the bowl out there, and it's going to work its way back to the centre line. And I can see if my car gets towed, Jared, it's right behind that camera there, all right? So Paris Baker trying to make that correction to sit inside the bowl, is going to get an inside roll and just sit outside that of the shot bowl. Congratulations also to Hawke's Bay, who had their regional inter-centre final yesterday, the men. That was Hawke's Bay, Wairarapa, Gisborne East Coast and the Manawatu. And Hawke's Bay ran out the winners to qualify for the national final to be held later in the year. And today, in fact, the women, the round robin of the women's for that particular region will be played today. And also going on in Dunedin is the PBA, Professional Bowls Association finals are being played. And just pulling up lower the jack, but would more than likely count that bowl of Paris Baker. So we'll see Jenny Stockford changing her hand to the backhand. There's nothing to run into on that backhand. Reasonably, and that's going to be under the line. And it's the old danger, Jared, of trying to steer the bowl to a home rather than deliver the bowl to a breaking point.
That's right, quite right, yeah.
And you're always going to, and of course on Starweed, if you elect to play under the line on Starweed, you'll pay the price for it.
Correct, yeah. Just a couple of little shout-outs there. A little shout-out to Linda Ralph from Carlton Cornwall, winning the Champ singles last weekend, and also to Les Brown from Howick, winning the men's Champs. So they'll go on to represent Auckland at the Bolt Hastings.
Yes, it is in
July. Yeah,
I know we're doing a bit of travelling around that time of the year. We're going to Hastings, Dunedin. Well, yeah, we're going all over the place. And one of the things now with Bowls New Zealand, we've got we're covering a plethora of events all around the countryside. Of course, last week we covered right throughout the Bowls 3-5 finals in Nainai, which was great. And we've got these events with Auckland Bowls, and then we move on, of course, to the Champion of Champions to be played at the various indoor complexes over the month of July.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to them as well.
So just going by the head is the bowl of Joe McKenna, a metre or so, a metre and a half over. Bloomfield now with her second, also with her first over the head. On the backhand is the New Lynn player, definitely holding two, I would say, or one on a measure. I'll give that in. Paris Baker giving this encouragement. Needs to sit on something, doesn't do. Just drifts away under that centre line, and Joe McKenna now just needs to improve by a metre on her backhand. And for those people who don't know, we are playing at, well, I would call it the historic bowls club. What is it in Auckland, but one of the most historic bowls clubs in New Zealand.
Well, it was certainly the very first bowling club established in New Zealand, and 1863, I think it is.
Yeah, something around there, and it's protected, of course, under the Act.
Okay.
It's it's a historic places. It's a.
I know the club has gone through a resurgence in the last 3 or 4 years.
It certainly has.
Some very good management here, very good enthusiastic committee that they've got, and a lot of focus on corporate bowls and social bowls.
Well, we've seen Rocky Nook doing the same sort of thing, hasn't it? They've certainly become a very active club, and I'll call it the Irish club. On the backhand is now Joe McKenna, down on the head again, playing her last bowl on this, the third end. Jenny Stockford encouraging it to come back to the head. It's got good weight, going to just finish over the jack, but won't alter the count, I wouldn't say. And there's that last bowl of Bloomfield's, it is two, they came into it, now it's three. I think that'll do.
Yeah, that's enough. Three's enough.
And it was interesting, the three shots that they scored there to take them to a handy 5-0 break after 3 ends. All those three counting bowls, durable bowls that found their way, working themselves back towards the centre line, and just highlights that if you want to have effective bowls or counting bowls, that I'd say that metre around the jack and centre line is that's where you get that consistency.
Correct. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
And it's interesting that the New Lynn combination are certainly favouring the shorter ends. I'm picking we're going to have the umpire out here for another. Oh, no, I see Joe McKenna giving a nod, so obviously happy with the length, and I'm picking that as soon as Jenny Stockford and Joe McKenna can get their hands on the jack, that we'll be seeing it down the back here somewhere.
Yeah, we saw those tactics last weekend, actually, where somebody was really struggling on a particular length, and then they finally get hold of the mat and they change the length, whether it be long or short, and it just upsets the rhythm of the team that has the momentum. Certainly
does. Good opening bowl from Paris Baker, just in behind the jack, just nestled in behind the jack. Very good opening bowl on this, the fourth end of 18. Jenny Stockford following that on the backhand. Good response here from Jenny Stock. Just going to go by, but a very, very good response from the Point Chevalier.
Just cut that green again, eh?
Just a fraction, one bowl narrow of the target. So on the backhand now is Paris Baker. Certainly a player with lots of potential. And no doubt, I would imagine,
she's a national representative, isn't she, Paris?
Yeah, well, there's debate at the Commonwealth Games about what's going on. I'm not going to say too much about the Pacifica teams. There's some, there's some debate going on. I know in the Cook Islands side, a former Okahu Bay player, Jason Lindsay, he's in the Commonwealth Games side, along with Aidan Zitterstein of Paratutu.
Oh, yes.
They're definitely in the side.
The Cook Island side.
Yeah, and insofar as the others, there's just talking to Brett O'Reilly just the other day. In fact, the Bowls New Zealand, where he's representing from World Bowls, there's a bit of debate going on about some of the uncertainties created in some of the Pacific countries. So we'll just have to wait and see what transpires. Interesting here, Jenny Stockford's electing now to change her hand because she's struggling to get that consistency, that metre consistency. This looks on a good line though. This bowler, Jenny Stockford's a good adjustment being made here. Going to sit inside the Paris Baker bowl and will do, and sits on the back of the jack. And sometimes just that one bowl encouragement can make all the difference to your whole game and your whole mindset. Change the hand and drew a touch up. Just might be that that little break.
Yep. If something's not working, you got to change it.
Absolutely. 3-2 now. Karen Hema. 3-2. Karen Hema and Lisa Bordeaux leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen of Onehunga districts. That too after 3 of 18 ends. So here is Bloomfield playing on her backhand, endeavouring to reach and sit on the shot bowl. Was the advantage, I suppose, for the Point Chevalier side. They've got a bowl sitting out on the drag position too.
Here's a nice bowl.
Any movement of the jack is going to get all the way. No, it doesn't. Just falls one bowl out. So, about a good second, certainly very, very good second shot for the Bloomfield Baker Newland combination. Just finishes lower the jack and rightly. Joe McKenna going to a forehand, just endeavouring to get around that front bowl, sit on the Paris Baker bowl, just question the line, doesn't want to get a turn onto the front bowl of Olivia Bloomfield. Didn't have the weight.
That's right in my line. If I was a hacker like that, I'd be tempted to run at that bowl, but I'm gonna. Well, that's why I'm sitting here.
Well, to be fair, Drew, that shot, that shot is on to the shot bowl with a couple of yards of weight.
Change the hand.
And the idea here is to play with that reach through weight, because one could sit the pole or even move the jack. So here is Olivia Bloomfield endeavouring to get that result to the shot bowl. Paris Baker's encouraging the bowl to come back. Is it going to come back? All but great effort.
Great effort.
Great effort. More than likely important here now, of course, another bowl on the head for the Point Chevalier side. So here is Joe McKenna on her backhand. And got that bowl away well. Seems to be on a pretty good arc. This bowler is going to, how far is it going to come back to the centre line? Got it away well, but had to have green to get around the front bowl. And really, it's a fairly good bowl that was played by Joe McKenna. But more than like that front bowl just hindered it to get all the way back to the counting area, Gerald.
Yeah, there's no doubt that front bowl is in your eye as far as that's concerned.
So, Olivia Bloomfield playing her third bowl, and
I mean, when you look at it from this angle, it looks like you can draw around that front bowl, but it's
they're looking at swinging down to the bowl.
Yeah.
Actually, word of advice: don't look for too long. Well, I've watched a lot of bowls, and you can sometimes, if you've got the shot on your mind, go ahead and play it. Don't try and overthink it.
It's a simple game.
Well, you finish up playing 2 shots when you do that, unfortunately. Still looking at that, just what we spoke about, Gerald trying to play through there to get to the counting bowl. We'll need to have definitely a yard of weight to hold up to that line. And certainly is playing with that weight that we spoke about. In fact, more weight trying to get to the shot bowl. Chip it out, got the jack, got the bowl.
Oh, what a result.
Wee bit fortuitous of how it resulted.
Fortuitous, I like that word, Kevin. I like that word, fortuitous.
Never, and Stockford and Joe McKenna coming to have a look. Now, realistically, am I right then that, there could be 2 down, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Paris Baker Bowl, isn't it, directly behind, right on the centre line. So really, I think the draw, and I question the draw on the backhand because you've got to play into a bowl or around a bowl.
But remember, that's her bowl. If she hits that and knocks it up, she needs to tip it over once, I think.
But that's an open draw on the forehand. Never rely on drawing the shot by knocking a bowl.
Yeah, okay, I agree, yeah.
Because the line becomes so... She needs the outer weight to turn the bowl over. And the danger is, well, good on you, Jenny. Jenny just indicated, forget about the bowl, draw around it. Don't play to the bowl, because the minute you try and play to the bowl, that's when you're going to drift under the heads. Got weight on, definitely got weight on, got round them. It's the old story, two-shot mind in and played with sort of that reaching weight.
Yeah.
Would have been the right way if playing to that front bowl that was there.
Yeah.
But Jenny had indicated to try and get the jack level draw. So, 2, I'm sure to go up on the board. 4-2 now, 4-2. Karen Hema and Lisa Prideaux. 4-2 after 4 ends. It's Lisa Prideaux and Karen Hema of the Carlton Cornwall Club, leading Jamie Delaney and Dorian Jensen of Onehunga District. And I think one of the good things from Auckland Bowls' point of view, Gerald and he's playing here later today, of course, is the things that we're talking about, what I call the finer points of game management that Leif Selby is able to bring is...
In his new role as Bowls Development or Coaching Development Officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That certainly brings, the ability that Leif brings, the whole game, his strategy, his just what he brings. Of course, former world champion, of course.
Yeah.
So, it can only be beneficial to the players of Auckland. And all I'd suggest, if you've got the chance to listen to Leif, listen to him. Good opening bowl here from Jenny Stockford, sitting right in behind the jack after the Paris Baker bowl, just drifted by with 1.5 metres of weight. And here is...
Again, they're playing to that short end, eh?
Certainly are. Well, of course, at 7-0,
it's working for them.
It is. It's when you play what's working for it. I had the pleasure of playing against Leif a couple of times when he was at Warilla, and he's got one of the best deliveries you'd ever want to see, and his game management is absolutely top draw, and it's only going to be of benefit to not only the bowlers of Auckland, but it will improve the bowlers of Auckland, but it helps on a national platform as well, because the ability that Leif brings. So, and of course, he'll be here defending his title, or endeavouring to defend his title.
He's certainly in the semi-finals anyway, and all we can do is hope that he makes it to the final and carries on.
Well, he goes pretty good for a guy that doesn't play that much, doesn't he? Good bowl here from Paris Baker, draws right in front of the jack. That's the sort of bowl that you really want to see, because they are so difficult to be able to just get your dead draw weight's got to be absolutely perfect to get around to get to the jack. So on the back end now is the Point Chevalier lead, trailing 7-0 after 4 of 18 ends. And just a reminder, it's 4-2. 4-2 is to the Karen Hema, Lisa Prideaux combination. And I'm sure Jenny Stockford would be happy if she got inside that bowl clean. Didn't quite do so. Didn't have bad weight really, Gerald, to get to the jack. But when they change over, it'll be 1 to the New Lynn combination. Be holding the shot.
It's interesting when Jenny Stockford's playing her backhand, it's either too wide or too narrow. She just can't quite pick the exact line.
Well,
she's got her forehand right coming this way, but the backhand is a bit of a challenge on her. Just getting that line.
Well, my suggestion would be use your feet properly on the map to get your sort of good starting point. So on the forehand is Olivia Bloomfield holding the shot, and it's got to draw around the Jenny Stockford bowl.
It's too wide, I think.
Well, again, the more than likely the front, and it's one of the coaching things, I suppose, Gerald, is you just ignore that front bowl there, make the back bowl in behind the jack really where you're trying to draw to, rather than trying to it just pushes you out, so to speak. So here is McKenna trying to get down to the shot bowl. This is a good attempt here from Joe McKenna, the Point Chevalier skip. This is a great attempt here. Got a touch on that jack.
Yeah.
Great attempt there from the Point Chevalier skip. Got it clean and would have dragged the jack slightly back to the bowl of Jenny Stockford's, which is sitting in behind the jack. So very good attempt from the Point Chevalier skip. So brought a line in.
Yeah.
Has Olivia Broomfield certainly changed the line with this bowl and still stayed right out though. I wonder now what shot we're going to see from Joe McKenna. Just if I can hear what's been said from Jenny Stockford, try and get to the bowl one side or the other. And of course the difficulty is can't play with a lot of weight because there is a Paris Baker bowl which is sitting deepest down onto just out to the side of number one, and of course 2 Olivia Bloomfield bowls sitting as well in that area, so you can't be attacked with a whole lot of weight. And just see what weight. And Jenny Stockford, see beckoning the bowl, can't see a lot, and goes by. It's another bowl on the head for them though, and pushed one bowl and pushed another bowl through the head.
Sitting there with 2.
Well, I just wonder whether now it enables for McKenna to be able to attack the head possibly with a wee bit more weight down through that narrower line. With Olivia Bloomfield, these two bowls hasn't changed the head as yet, and it's not going to with this one. Going to go by, and they're coming to have a look at the head. I think you're at the point of the game as well, Joe, where you want to score.
Yes.
You know, one's getting scored. They chip away at you, and there is the chance here to really, you can play half sort of weighted shots, and really they don't become effective bowls. I think the best thing is, let's say we're going to try and get rid of the bowl now. To get down to the bowl on the hand that they're looking at now, it's just about impossible with that front bowl, a metre lower the jack. And I just think that the best shot option is, let's see what happens. Trying to dislodge the bowl with whatever weight that you feel happy with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Swinging it on your forehand, you're going to come under that blue bowl. Although on the green that we've got, it might hold its line a little bit better. That's still what do they say about playing the percentage shots, don't they?
Yeah, well, certainly is, and playing those half-weighted shots just makes it more difficult to hold the bowl on a line to get down to where you want it to get to. So here is Joe McKenna, and is certainly is playing with weight to reach. Is going to hold up long enough. Difficult shot there, Gerald. Going to go by.
Good line, not just the weight.
Well, the front bowl really made it the shot quite challenging, and I thought you might have gone full end on the back end to try and chip the bowl completely out of the head. Another end gone, and that's another shot to the New Lynn combination. They're now leading 8 shots to 0 after 5, and 4-3 after 5. 4-3 it is Karen Hema and Lisa Bordeaux leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. They too have played 5 ends, and it is 4-3 to the Carlton Cornwall combination. By goodness, I look in front of me here, Gerard, and there's some life members here of the Auckland Bowling Club, and there's some names of I see the great L.J. Key's name here, 1942. George Woolley, 1949.
L.J. Keys, wasn't he also associated with St Heliers?
Yes, they have. Well, there's the same. There's another. There's another Rowwoody member here, 2013. The late Don Scott, Don Scott, and another one up there for who was also a Hills member in 2001. The late Cliff Shanks, who did was a great worker for for Bowls.
They have that annual tournament at Royal Oak now, the Cliff Shanks Memorial.
And that's a memory. Remember, he was made a life member here in 2001. Carlaw, 1915. Well, we're right next door to Carlaw.
Carlaw Park?
The old Carlaw Park would be some relative, no doubt, because this is where the men of Auckland.
Yeah.
This is where they used to play for sure. So another good opening bowl here from Paris Baker. The really good thing which Paris Baker, in my view, is doing, Gerard, is she's getting that centre line domination.
Yeah.
They may not be right on top of the jack, but getting that centre line control, and that it does tend to make such a big difference. And again, so we're seeing Jenny Stockford not being able to get that weight to the centre line, so you can't. It's so much difficult to build a hit. I know the first bowl of Paris Baker's is way out on the wide side, but with the second bowl adjusted, got good centre line control, pretty good weight, lower the jack, but right on the centre line. And this third bowl, of Paris Baker, just going to dip under the centre line, but going to finish in a very good home.
Beautiful weight.
Look to be jack level, just slightly over the jack, but sits not counting, but in a good position. And Jenny Stockford now bringing that line in. How far is it going to run, though? Needs to get to the jack. Great attempt. Going to get to the jack. Does trails the jack around the corner.
And sits nicely behind it.
Well,
she'll be happy with that.
Well, very much so.
Big confidence boost for Jenny there.
Because it certainly nullified the three bowls off the front from Paris Baker. So, they can't build the head this particular time. Can the New Lynn combination after that very good bowl trail shot of Jenny Stockford, and it sits about 15 to 18 inches directly in behind the jack. Because I can't remember which Commonwealth Games it was, but Olivia Bloomfield, of course, represented Niue Island, the Nuis in the Commonwealth Games a few years back. Might have been in Delhi, actually.
Oh, okay.
Everybody went to Delhi.
When's the New Zealand team about to be announced, do you know?
It's not far away at all. And Bromfield got a touch on the jack just on the way through and played it on that really hardest shot, got down to the jack, well played. Just in response to that, Gerard, I know it's not very far away.
Right.
Because Australia, they've just finished their training camp in England, and it was a training camp come trial, and just a message for all there. It was the home nations that held some domination over Australia at Leamington-on-Spa, which just again highlights the challenge that's going to be over in Leamington-on-Spa. Going to get under the head is Joe McKenna. She's needs to run a metre and make a counter of it. Will more than likely do so. Still a metre lower the jack though, and I just wonder whether Paris Baker can, and talking to Olivia Bromfield, whether she can still get that line now with the last bowl of McKenna's coming in. No, still talking to get to that line through there. By goodness, that's unusual. There's James Williams talking. He's likes a natter, but he's got a pie as well. And
he's going to be sorely missed by the pie shop in Auckland. There's no doubt about that.
Only just missed with the first bowl, did Olivia Bromfield. Looks as though endeavouring to play that same shot again. and did get a touch on the jack, of course, with the first, playing with a lot more weight, trying to get down to the shot bowl. Obscured at the moment, can't see, going by, gets nothing.
She's cut a green.
And of course, Canada have just finished a training camp as well, at training camp and trial, finished on Friday at Leamington on Spa. So Malaysia have been there, Australia, Canada, and England, Ireland, Scotland were all at Leamington and Spa over the last 10 days.
Yeah, there's your line, Olivia. You just come around that pink bowl and draw up.
Well,
I think running at the head was a mistake.
I think she's forced to draw now. There's 3. You saw it, Paris Baker there very quickly indicate. And I'd be with leading 8-0. I'd be trying to get second shot, I think, the shot percentage here really, Gerald, because you can, you're leaving the door pretty wide open for Joe McKenna to draw a 4th.
Yeah, she's gone for the draw.
Yeah, that's good sense, good play. This is going to be, needs to get underneath to get, will it reduce? Will reduce 1 at this point in time. And of course now Joe McKenna's got a bowl in hand, needs to come, ignore that last bowl of, just ignore the last bowl there of Olivia Bloomfield's, and she's literally got half a metre to draw a counter and change a hand, trying to draw through the.
You played a beautiful bowl last time, Joe. Stick to it. You just have to beat your own bowl and you're there.
Don't overcomplicate something which is simple.
Exactly. You played a perfect shot second time. Do it again.
And the Olivia Bloomfield bowl wasn't going to affect where she was drawing from.
Yep.
So we'll see with this bowl, the change of hand from Joe McKenna. And no luck.
Oh, she lost it. She lost her line. She had her line and she just lost it with the change of hand.
So 8-2 now after 6, the third of the match gone, and it is 8-2 to the combination of Paris Baker and Olivia Bloomfield of New Lynn over Jenny Stockford and Joe McKenna of Point Chevalier. And I'm only more interested here to see where the jack gets delivered to, because
she's got the mat right up to the back to the 2 metre mark,
and the jack needs to be right, because definitely struggled with the line. Excuse me, her line has.
She's just struggled a bit with that weight, through it medium.
Well, this is the old length, Gerald, where you can really get. You just got to think about it, because you're not short, you're not long. You're in that. You're in that in between. And I just look as well how quickly Jenny Stockford plays on the mat.
Looks like a nice.
And it's a good opening bowl for sure. She's a no fuss player and draws just lower the jack.
Yeah.
And Paris Baker now will follow on that forehand, playing up towards the museum end here at the Auckland Bowling Club, which, for those who don't know, is nestled in amongst behind the Stanley Street tennis courts, and just below the Auckland Domain. It's in one of the real picturesque environments of Auckland. 5 minutes from the. Only 5 minutes from the, you're right on the motorway, literally, and 5 minutes from central Auckland.
Yeah. It was interesting when they had the Bowls 3-5 here, the Auckland Bowls 3-5, a lot of the people who work in the city grabbed those electric scooters.
All right.
And they had to play here at 6 o'clock, and most of them were finishing at 5 or 5:15. Grabbed an electric scooter and just scooted all down here.
No worries about parking?
No worries about parking, no, not on that, but somebody picked the scooter up later on as well. Didn't even need to take it home.
So, the second bowl of Jenny Stockford, but wayward. We see Paris Baker's adjusted a line here with her second bowl. Is it going to get to the jack or just go by? Will go by, but Olivia Bloomfield will be content with that. So here now is Stockford again. I can see Leif Selby standing outside the fence there with Tommy King. And certainly gone wider with this bowl has Jenny Stockford. And how far is it going to come back to the centre line? Will it get back to the centre line? Will finish just jack level, finished well. The key thing here now for the New Lynn side, the Point Chevalier side, depending on what happens with this bowl, is a bowl behind the head.
Oh, he's played the backhand.
Is imperative, really. Well,
I know.
So Baker trying to get down to rest on the bowls, not on a good line. How's the weight? Is it going to get down all the way? Is a great attempt from Paris Baker, just going to fall out.
Second shot, I think.
Yeah, good. It's on the head. The important thing for Joe McKenna really is to get behind. Even if Joe McKenna was to touch the jack, that's not all bad either.
No.
Just removes that drag shot that away from the Australia, but took a team of for their trials, including the paras and blind bowlers. And they took a squad of 20 for the multi-nations which they played in the UK. So it'll certainly be interesting to see who makes the final Australian side when it comes out in the not too distant future. Of course, we go to Australia in 3 weeks.
Okay.
So the team's got to be
Trans-Tasman
and been played really well right out of very short years. McKenna, very
won't be happy with that.
So yes, the Trans-Tasman has been played at Mount Tamborine, which is about 90. Well, I think it's about a 90k trip up into the hinterland on the coast, and they've developed a green there at Mount Tamborine, which is hopefully pretty akin to English conditions, and we'll have the green running, from reports that I've had, the green running at around about 12 seconds.
Oh.
Well, and the reports I've had from the UK as well, and this has actually come from one of the teams in Team England, that Leamington on Spa will be running at around about 12 to 13 seconds for the Commonwealth Games.
Sometimes you wonder, 12 seconds, and you go to something like Howick with 20 seconds.
Great ball here for McKenna, sitting right in behind, touches it. Well, Manchester in 2002 was about 9 seconds. That was Manchester was about 9.
It's hard to play on the opposition's turf, isn't it? So Mount Tamborine, is that in New South Wales or Queensland?
It's in Queensland, up on and they go out from the Gold Coast, wind up into the mountains and behind the Gold Coast, and not going to reach the head. Now this becomes an important part of the game for the Point Chevalier combination. They can add another one here. They go to 8-5. They own the mat. They own the length.
Yep.
And very quickly things can just change around. 5 apiece now. 5 apiece. Doreen Jensen up against Karen Hema and the other, and Lisa Prideaux. 7 Ian's gone and 5 apiece. So here is Joe McKenna endeavouring to add to the head. Looks on the narrow side as it needs to get past the front. Not going to do so. Yeah, disappointing, because the vision line really for Joe McKenna there was the bowl out to the side of the head there.
She's calling it through with a bit of weight.
Well, she can play, of course, to that Paris Baker bowl. Just lower the jack, try and turn that into the head, because they do have the advantage of a bowl over the head there. Is it going to hold up long enough? Going to run into the front. What's it going to hit? Going to go by. Turns over one of the bowls. And from looking out position here, it looks like 2. It is 2. So now 8-5 after 7. 8-5. It is Paris Baker and Olivia Bloomfield of New Lynn leading Jenny Stockford and Joe McKenna of Point Chevalier. And in the other semi-final, it is all locked up at 5 apiece after 7 ends. And of course we will later on. We have got the men's semi-finals, where we'll have Daniel Delaney and David Motu up against Scott Harrison and Tony Marinkovic. Leif Selby, the defending champion, with James Williams up against Richard Kempthorne and Roger Johnson. And that semi-finals will get underway immediately after this match, I presume.
Semi-finals, yep.
Yeah, and so we will have 2 rounds of men's, of course, and then after this we'll have the women's final, correct?
Correct, yep.
So 8-4 after 7 ends. This surprises me very much, Gerald, this length that we're now playing. I just, the point shifts, I just seem to be struggling to find what I would call a happy length.
Right.
And Paris Baker with her first, going to take full advantage of it. To Jenny Stockford going short with the first.
Jenny put that mat to the back, but she didn't throw the jack hard enough.
Didn't deliver the jack down, what I call, that deeper opportunity.
Yeah.
On the forehanders, Jenny Stockford. And narrowish, as we see. Joe McKenna conducting the camera as well. And that's just what we were talking about before, George, that's simply trying to steer the bowl to the jack.
Yeah.
And you're just not going to get effective bowls by...
Just a little bit of frustration coming into your game. I think
absolutely.
I mucked up the first one. You just overthink the second one.
But of course, what it does allow the opposition to get control immediately of the head, as we've seen Paris Baker with her second bowl come in behind the jack over the head. It's imperative here that Jenny Stockford gives her skip. Joe McKenna something on the head to play to, and there's a better bowl here from Stockford as it breaks down towards the jack now. Can't see whether it got it, the jack or not.
Sat on the pink bowl. I think it's still one pink. That was a much better reply from Jenny.
No, it is Jenny Stockford holding shot. The blue there, you can see the blue bowl, which is sitting just low of the jack. And Paris Baker endeavouring to play up, get a turn on the bowl, is going to be short. And that reduces, of course, the shot options. As I'm sure they'll see.
One blue.
I'm sure we're going to see Olivia Bloomfield. My view is to play down on that backhand and try and dislodge the shot bowl, because they do have a bowl over the head. You see the Paris Baker bowl sitting back and behind the head. And I would imagine Olivia Bloomfield will be playing with weight to try and move that bowl.
It's interesting, you see how the skip, in this case Olivia, is standing at the head, so she hasn't gone down to her end. You know, the conditions of play say you can only visit the head after your second bowl.
I see the other matches doing it as well.
But this is actually visiting the head before you even play your first bowl. It's kind of a... And I know the umpires have often argued, we should put in our conditions of play. You must all both walk down together. And
to be fair about that, I can't see the need for her to be standing there.
Oh, well, she just wants to see the head in case it gets disturbed.
It hasn't changed.
Oh, not in this case, but if...
We can overcomplicate things.
Yeah, we can do. There's certainly... And a lot of umpires don't like writing in too many pedantic rules. It's the players' game. The players can do what they like, as long as they get on with it.
I'm sure we'll see Olivia Bloomfield play with weight to reach.
Play underneath the blue bowl. And
so here I am going to be pedantic. She's just stood down at the head and now taking a number of time to decide what shot she's going to play.
No, I don't think she's taken. She knows what she's just clearing her mind to play the shot.
Surprised. I thought she'd be playing.
I thought she'd play some weight under the blue.
Yeah, that was sort of a... See, it finishes outside Jenny Stockford, and, well, in fact, it is very short, in fact, and really has cut that forehand line off as well. So here is McKenna holding the shot and also playing on the backhand, trying to get past these low bowls to get down to the jack area.
Don't hit the pink.
Hasn't got the weight, has it, to get past the pink. Needed one more roll and would have been past the pink. Well, I think there's only... Whichever way Olivia Bloomfield plays it, it's a one-shot result. If to either dislodge the bowl or to get the jack to go back.
Yeah.
So, you know, and one would think even if Olivia Bloomfield was to dislodge her middle bowl, it would have some contact on what is the shot bowl and the jack, the way how they're sitting. We'll see what weight
forehand.
We'll see what weight.
Oh well, no.
Olivia Bloomfield elects to play here.
You see, you stand at the head and you see one thing, and you stand on the mat and you see something else. And when you both don't see it, it's...
So here is Bloomfield, which to me, weight through the head under the to get to that. But that's exactly the shot that's playing, and to me is the best percentage shot to play. And got the bowl, got the jack. More than likely made two of it, but it was more than likely still the best percentage shot.
These are jacks out in the open now, you can see
Absolutely.
There's something to play on to. Personally, I would have played the backhand. I thought the backhand was a better shot.
So did I, actually. And more than likely a bit quicker. But each their own. So Joe McKenna holding the shot. Of course, this is now the third in a row that they've been holding the shot at this point of the head. So that's some encouragement to the Point Chevalier side as we watch on the backhand. This bowler, Joe McKenna, needs to get under the front. Going to do so. He's going to draw Jack level. There's a lovely bowl from McKenna. Sits right in behind the jack. Falls over. And that makes three of it. And a one bowl target here for Olivia Bloomfield. And a very good bowl there from the 6-5 now, Karen Hema. 6-5, Karen Hema leading her semi-final over Doreen Jensen, and that's 8 ends gone. We'll see what shot here that Olivia Bloomfield, 3 down. The draw really looks the reduction draw, which she did on the end before. It looks more than likely the only option. On the backhand, looking out the window here on the mat, looks as though Olivia Bloomfield playing with weight.
What's she done there? Oh, cut the green.
And took one of them out, took one of the counters out, took the front counter out. So that would be 2. 8-6 now after 8 ends. 8-6.
Goes to show how you can claw your way back. Eh? You're 8-0 down, and suddenly you start to pick yourself up. Yeah. And
you don't
2 and 2 and 2.
You don't have to score them all on one end, do you? You know, you can just chip away, get the mat, get that control of the mat. And I really.
But the Newland combination were picking up 1s, and now in response, the Point Chev combination are picking up 2s.
Well, I just think that it
closes that gap quickly.
It certainly does, and I just hope that, to me, the length, though, is the key thing. The length that they're playing. They've got the mat back, which is, and we'll see, this jack looks to be down that 3/4 in between length again.
Yeah.
And if they're comfortable with that. So 8-6 now. Really, well, it was 8-0, wasn't it?
Was 8-0.
So it can very quickly, in a few ends, can all change. On the forehand is the Point Chevalier lead. Got this bowl out on a good arc. But just question how far that's going to run, though. Coming in towards the centre line now. It's a good opening bowl from the Point Chevalier lead.
Yeah, Jenny's got a line now on that hand.
Right in behind the jack. It's only half a bowl off the centre line. Yeah. And, of course, immediately it puts the pressure straight away onto the opponents because where they're having they had about 4 ends of free territory.
Yeah. Here's a good response.
It changes. So Baker not going to have the weight. And I wouldn't be changing your hand. I'd be still a good metre to draw around in front of that bowl, really. But electing to change the hand and has struggled. Has Jenny Stockford on this hand. How far is this going to come back? Has it got the weight? Now, I just feel, Gerard, there's still plenty of room around there to draw.
There's plenty of room. You're quite right.
You just that's really becoming defensive before we need to become defensive. And Paris Baker will be endeavouring to beat her last bowl, her own bowl, and is making a good attempt at it. And that highlights open the gate.
Yes, just goes to show, open the gate. It just goes to show the class of Paris Baker, though, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A very, very accomplished player with a fantastic future. New and just had to improve by a metre on her first bowl, which she duly did. And now, straight away, the pressure goes back on the Point Chevalier side. Trying to get down to the jack is Jenny Stockford, going to run lower the jack. And really, after scoring as they did in those last few ends, they'll be disappointed of how they've they allowed this to...
they lost a bit of momentum on that one.
Yeah, they did. They did. So change your hand here, which they can now do. The new inside, they've certainly got the shot, and to draw past the front bowl on the backhand will be Baker. The other good thing about Paris Baker, if you look at her delivery, it's a very consistent, good delivery that makes such a difference, and makes such a big difference and a touch-up.
Oh, yeah, that's handy.
And really mixes up the two bowls of Jenny Stockford's, and who are, although under the line fractionally there, it's still a delivery whereby you're giving yourself a really good chance to get back to the centre line. Of course, what's this done, how this is positioned the head now, whereas before it could have swooped down possibly on that other hand, now it just makes it more challenging.
Yeah, and there's a couple of short bowls on the front is going to make it hard for McKenna to come through.
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah.
10-5 now, 10-5, Karen Hema and Lisa Prideaux. At the halfway mark lead Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen of Onehunga District. 10-5 after 9 of the 18 ends. So here is Joe McKenna endeavouring to score again, and certainly needs to reach the bowl or jack down through.
Looks narrow to me.
Hard shot.
Yeah.
And is neither one thing or the other. Rolls one of the Olivia Bloomfield bowls open. And really it's one of those heads. I don't know whether Joe McKenna is a real driving, attacking player, but it's one of those heads whereby it's difficult to play the sort of shot that was just played then. That sure wasn't. So whether she's going to see the bowl clear off the mat.
I think one of the interesting things about bowls is when you're down that end and you're holding one, you don't need to touch the jack to get the second shot. You just have to get your bowl closer to the other person's bowl.
That's the
and
so right.
The mentality is ours. I've got to touch the jack, or I've got to draw as close as possible to the jack, which is not true. You've got to out-bowl the other guy's bowl.
Well, the purest aspect of the game is you don't draw how many you've got to the jack, it's how many you've got inside the opposition bowl.
Correct.
Is what's the scoring.
Yeah.
Opportunity. Playing with a lot more weight, trying to get to the bowl here. Got the inside of the bowl.
Oh,
no, she doesn't.
God.
Great attempt there from Joe McKenna to try and get the bowl, and that was the weight to be, that was really needed. That was the
line on weight.
That was the choice of weight without any shadow of doubt. And to me, it gives her a lot more confidence now. play that shot again and see whether you see Paris Baker placing her foot out to the side of the jack, leading 8-4. 8-6, sorry, trying to get to a jack level scoring position. We'll have to just get around this front bowl. If it gets around the front bowl on dead draw weight, it'll certainly count. And it's getting applause early on from the end. It certainly is.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Just behind it? Jack, just slightly jack high, I hope?
Well, it's
because you don't want to wick and flick it to the kitty.
It's got to be attacked, because you can actually get the result off the inside now of that Olivia Brunfield bowl.
But as long as it's jack,
jack
high.
level,
It's
just
jack level.
Jack level. So
you might get a bit of a wick and a shoulder to rub off.
if you go quick enough, you can get them both. So here's Joe McKenna on the mat.
Olivia's got the last bowl though.
Absolutely. And we'll play with weight down to the counting bowls. Needs to get into the inside of the bowl, needs a bit of luck, doesn't get it, rocks the bowls around.
Bonus bowl coming up.
And of course we will have, as we said earlier, the semi-final of the men's, David Motu and Danny Delaney of Ellerslie.
Yeah, Ellerslie. Yeah.
Goodness, David Motu and Danny Delaney of Ellerslie up against Scott Harrison and Tony Marinkovich of Balmoral. And they will play Richard Kempthorne and Roger Johnson St Heliers up against the defending champions Leif Selby and James Williams of Carlton Cornwall. So we'll see this bowl.
Yeah. Should be enough for three. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, could be more than that actually.
Yeah.
Looking at where the bowls are placed there after those two bowls have come out, Gerald, could actually be more than that. Two have been taken out.
Measure hers first and then go around. Yeah, that's three.
That's Olivia's bowl.
I'm not measuring the pink one, eh?
So, a handy three at this part of the game.
And that is, see if they play the mat short again, eh?
Well, it's interesting. The bowls 3-5 last week. Gerald, we kept talking about that first bowl effectiveness.
Yes.
And there was a head there where they just got into a scoring mode, had the point Chevalier combination, and weren't able to capitalise on that first bowl effectiveness, and it just puts a challenge on straight away. So we are back to the very, what I would call the shorter version of three-quarter length head. I think checking to see whether the jack is up, because the mat is up a wee bit as I look out the window here.
Umpire. He's going to call the umpire. Come on, Olivia, call the umpire.
And also going on here as well at the Auckland Bowling Club is the Auckland Bowls 1-5 champion. Well, it's just 1-5 open pairs, is it, or champion pairs?
No, just Auckland 1-5 pairs.
Just Auckland 1-5 pairs. Was it 60s? How many lined up? You said yesterday.
56.
56.
56 teams lined up yesterday.
And 28 qualified.
28 qualified. Yeah.
So it's been deemed that the jack is up, playing.
That's correct. Sorry.
11-6 now. 11-6 after the halfway mark.
Yeah, a lot of the bowlers complained about, we're talking seniors and juniors, about the unfairness of the section play that we used to have. And, so we decided we'd do some investigation on, if you play 3 games, play 2 out of 3 or win 2 out of 3, what's the percentage of people who qualify? And I worked out it was between 45 and 55%. And if you play the 4 games, so a bit like Bowls New Zealand does on the Nationals, they play, you win 3 out of 4, it's about a third qualify.
Well, if I take Australia as an example, that's exactly how they play their state championships, and they play normally play one round of post-section play at the back end of the day.
But they must be then at one green or one
facility.
Well, one facility.
They like I know right
state
now.
State champs, yeah.
They do finish up playing 4. Well, it's interesting that in some sections, though, you'll get someone's won 2 games, they don't have to play the third.
Correct.
That does happen. Not that that affects the post section, but it's a format that they've used, and I'm not sure how the Australian Open, which is about to start very shortly, I don't know what the format is for that. It's a big event. I see Olivia Blomfield. In fact, she's off to the Australian Open.
Oh, okay.
I've with Paris Baker, and I think when Bowls Australia kindly sent me the online thing the other day, the whole Australian Open, and I'm sure that they're playing with 2 Australian-based players. Well, they're playing together in the pairs, obviously, and I'm pretty sure they're playing with 2 Australian-based players in the fours. 10-7 now after 10. 10-7, Karen Hema and Lisa Prideaux leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. 10-7 after 10 of 18 ends. And goodness, this is what I'd call except for one bowl on this particular head, Gerard, it's pretty much bring the clothesline out. There's one bowl of Paris Baker's, which is, and I just wonder.
The change of length has
just
upset everybody, hasn't it?
Yeah. A metre and a metre and a half of variation of length.
Yeah.
And it just, and there's no wind, is it?
No,
we look out there
beautiful.
Now there's no wind whatsoever. So it's really about wait and delivery, isn't it? Wait in line.
Yeah.
I'm sure Olivia Blomfield on the back end, because there's plenty of room to draw, that's for sure. Coming around these front bowls, getting down towards the centre line and the jack, how fast it's going to run. And they go by a good metre, plenty of room here for, in fact, looking right out the window here in front of me, it's 2 shots to the New Lynn combination. It's right out in front of me here. I'll just sort of sneak look at the window, and I can see whether this bowl of Joe McKenna's will draw past the front bowls to get to the counting area. It will, and be shot.
Oh, that had a funny wobble on it.
Copped a bit of starweed.
Yeah.
Might have got a bit of starweed top at the finish, actually. Yeah. Looking out the window here, it looks like shot, and on the monitor it looks like it is shot as well. And the target for Olivia Bromfield is to draw inside that last bowl of Joe McKenna's to get shot. Went by a metre with her first. Going to sit on the bowl. Goes by. Looked as though it was going to sit inside what was the McKenna, and we were predicting shot bowl. Now for Joe McKenna, just on that backhand draw to beat her own last bowl.
Now the danger for Olivia is that she takes too much weight off.
That can so often happen, and now going to go by with weight it won't count there, I wouldn't think. Look, no, it does not. Now, mind you, Gerard, if Olivia Bromfield was to get a touch on the jack, it would certainly be beneficial to them, but really the draw is to just try and beat the bowl of McKenna, and if you get the touch on the jack, that's really a bonus. So on the backhand, leading 11-6 is Olivia Blomfield, and
she's a bit narrow.
Looks tight. How much is it going to hold up? Trying to get to the jack, and there was that shot that we spoke about, Gerald, just there, because there's a number of the Newland Bowls sitting in that little nest there. So for Joe McKenna just to try and draw one bowl inside her own bowl, which we are predicting is shot. Yeah, how quick is this?
Oh gosh. What are they going to do? I don't know. I think Jenny signalled one.
It was the very first bowl of Joe McKenna's on this, the 9th end. Resulted in shot, and we'll see the mat come all the way back to the 2 metre mark.
So that's 9 ends, 10 out of 18, okay.
Is there a time limit?
2.5.
2.5 hour time limit. So that in this particular case, should it be required, take us to 11:30.
Yeah.
So Jack's been delivered. And again, this is shorter again. I really questioned you when you know, the back end of the game. You've been struggling really. You haven't got, well, when I say struggling, you haven't been able to get consistency at this particular length. You're trailing by 4 shots. In my view, get the jack down deep on the green, change it around completely, and concentrate on getting that first bowl, you know, effective, and a lot can happen from there.
Look what happens, yeah.
And short
and narrow.
And again, straight away, first bowl now for the lead for Paris Baker. The door's open for this very, very talented young player. Isn't that delivery, Gerald? Hand comes up, head stays down, and that just helps to get that good, consistent arc to the bowl, to the jack, and exactly what we've seen. Finishing jack level, sitting about 11 inches from the jack. It's exactly what we were just talking about, getting that delivery and that first bowl effectiveness. Out wider with this bowl is Jenny Stockford. How far is it going to come back? Certainly on a good line is this bowl of Stockford. Is it going to run all the way? Looks like it will. Well played by the Point Chevalier lead. And sits a touch up right on top. The good thing that helps the New Lynn side is that with that bowl of Paris Bakers and full marks, that lovely bowl of Jenny Stockford's, but it's not putting you in a predicament of big numbers against you, is it?
Right. Here we just give it a little touch. Oh, just you wait there, girl. Just you wait.
Another bowl on the head for the New Lynn side, and I see Lisa Bordeaux just signalled there that's a 1 in their semi-final match. Lisa Bordeaux and Karen Hemer. As we watch this bowl of Jenny Stockford, just going to go by over the head. That's fine. Going to sit right on the centre line, directly in behind the jack. So any movement of the jack back certainly helps the Point Chevalier combination. And there's 11-7 now. 11-7. It is Lisa Bordeaux and Karen Hemer leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. Playing to get to the jack was...
One of the problems, of course, is that, you know, you really need to get rid of that blue bowl or play up onto the blue bowl. And if you play with a bit of weight, people say, oh, you're raking the head. And
well, you're not really in this case because you've built the head to be able to play the shot. When you're raking the head is when you're hoping to get a result. Right. There is a result, a sensible result opportunity on there, and I know Jenny and Joe McKenna are there having a good talk about what's required. Well, what's required is another bowl on the head.
Yeah.
Or you trail the jack yourself slightly and remove that 3-shot opportunity which sits there at present. Should Paris Baker should Olivia Bloomfield just dislodge the shot bowl. And so it's important here that Joe McKenna on her forehand gets another bolt on the head. So here on the forehand is McKenna. She certainly rode that off the mat. And it's on a good line, this bowl. And that's a well played from Joe McKenna. Got a touch on the jack as well, and that straight away Gerard removes that shot, doesn't it? That trail opportunity. So here's Olivia Bloomfield now. We'll follow that down on the forehand after that very good shot selection and well played by Joe McKenna. Olivia Bloomfield endeavouring to draw the shot or get a touch on the jack around the corner with her first on this, the 11th of 18 ends.
Narrow and short.
Narrow and short, and just repeat the same shot really for the Point Chevalier side. So on the forehand. just a little. Joe McKenna seems to have a little twitch with her fingers at that right at the delivery point, and it's going to. Oh, it turned it. Whether it's going to. It might have cut a shot out, I think, because it turned the bowl over. So Paris Baker's really indicating to Paris Baker's indicating to Olivia Bloomfield, don't be scared of it. Play through with weight, and that's exactly, to me, that's the best shot selection. That yard of weight shot, and that through the head. See if we can get a turn onto the front bowl, turn the jack out. It's going to be, looks as though it's going to be wide. On the wide side. It's going to be.
See, I would come on my backhand and try and pick out that shot bowl. You can see it from our angle here. It's hard to know what it looks like from the mat.
I'm just looking at. I can just see past one of the brick pillars in front of us here, Gerard, and I just wonder whether that line. You're right, whether that line's clear on the mat or not. Well, it all depends what weight you play with, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's So 11-7 after 10 of 18 ends. That's 11-7 to the combination of Paris Baker and Olivia Bloomfield of the New Lynn Club up against the Point Chevalier combination of Jenny Stockford and Joe McKenna. On the forehand will be McKenna again. And would ideally like to get another bowl on the head. Certainly got out on that wider side. How far is it going to come back? That's the big thing. Is it going to come back far enough? We'll see what weight is going to be decided to be played by Olivia Bloomfield, having a captain's board meeting down there now. We'll see what happens. And it's 11-7 after 11 of 18 ends. Karen Hemer and Lisa Prideaux leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. And they're coming to the end, in fact, of the 12th end. And it looks like, from my position here, it could be one to the Carlton Cornwall side. As the wind buffeting, bit of breeze out there, but it's not too harsh, the wind, though, is it?
No, I don't think so. This doesn't do anything flying around or.
So Olivia Bloomfield playing with weight, got away with a bit of a bounce. It's going well, it depends. Anything could happen here.
Oh, hit the wrong one, eh?
It's the wrong side of the bowl, and it'll be the point. But attacked with the right weight, that's for sure.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Yeah.
11-8 now. 11-8 after 11 of 18 ends in this semi-final, and we're coming to the end of the 12th end, in fact, in the other semi-final. That's the Lisa Prideaux, Karen Hemer game up against Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. I think the last bowl's just been played now on this, the 12th end. It's going to be short. No, looking now, I think it might be one to the...
11-9. Did they score two? No, 11.
11-7 over the 11 ends gone.
I know, but here.
11-9.
11-9.
So anyone's match.
Two. Scored two.
Anyone's match after... I thought it just signalled the one.
Yeah.
So we'll update you. The last bowl's just been played by Doreen Jensen on the adjacent rink. So we'll update you on that in but a moment. And I just saw Doreen Jensen drag the jack, and I'm going to have a count here. This is huge. 1, 2, I think 5.
A 5?
I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just got a touch on the jack, did Doreen Jensen with her last bowl, and moved the jack. 5 it is. 5 it is. So it's now 12-11. 12-11 to Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen over Lisa Prideaux and Karen Hemer. And just watching that Jared touch on the jack. Just bowls over the head.
Bowls over the head, eh? Yeah.
So Jenny Stockford now with her second bowl, breaking past the centre line. First one's a couple of metres short. This one, and I just think they're getting this inconsistency, Gerald, because of the length that they're actually playing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very, very difficult to settle on a yard over, yard short on these very, very shorter length heads. It just doesn't lend itself to, if you're struggling, just doesn't lend itself to good consistency. And there's still, and after fighting your way back into the match, has the Point Chevalier side, it's imperative that they get that start from the lead.
Yep.
And they're not going to this head. Well, in saying that, sorry, I forgot Stockford had a bowl left and a save today.
That's a good bowl too. It's right.
It is.
It's
right in front of the jack, right on the
jack.
centre line, and certainly makes the shot selection for the opposition, makes it somewhat limited in their shot availability.
The first thing you do is you've got to dislodge that bowl if you want to score.
Well, of course, the advantage, the benefit that Point Chevalier have got at this particular head as well, they have got a bowl
At the back.
Behind the head. Certainly it's a couple of metres behind the head, but it is over the head. So here's an opportunity for the skip for Joe McKenna to draw to the jack level bowl of Paris Bakers and make another counter of it. See former New Zealand player, Hall of Famer Marlene Castle just arrived.
Yeah, I thought I saw her at the back there.
Standing behind the Lisa Prideaux ring just after they drop a five.
Just after they drop a 5.
So here's a chance for Joe McKenna, draw to the pink bowl, and yeah, well, it'd be disappointing. This is the opportunity, really. It's one of the few heads that they've had, their Point Chevalier side, where they can capitalise and build in a scoring position. And you know, the green mark for Joe McKenna is certainly out to that jack level bowl, which is sitting there of Paris Bakers. It's interesting. One end difference, and as said, there is a time limit, but they're okay for that time limit. So Olivia Bromfield endeavouring to draw the shot down past the Paris Baker bowl to get to the shot bowl. There's a great attempt. This bowl sits on the shot bowl. But the shot opportunity right out in front of us here, Jared, is still to draw to the jack level bowl, and it will count. So, you know, and a bowl in behind. So for Joe McKenna, don't be frightened of the opportunity, because it's there to draw another shot. There's nothing in your road, so to speak. And going to sit inside it. Yes, it will. Sits inside just the one shot, though. I see Paris Baker indicating, but it's another good bowl on the head for the Point Chevalier combination. And having the advantage of the back bowl as well.
It's interesting that I'm not sure what sort of bowls they're playing with, but Paris Baker's bowl didn't curl nicely around those outside bowls and onto the jack.
Olivia Bromfield seems to have a kind of draw on her bowls as we watch this, her second bowl on this, the 12th end, and it's definitely Point Chevalier holding the shot, trying to get to the jack, goes by with a metre of weight. It was a great attempt by the New Lynn skip, only missed the jack by centimetres. 12-11 now, 12-11 Doreen Jensen and Jamie Delaney leading Lisa Prideaux and Karen Hema. It's 12 of 18 ends. So can McKenna lock the scores up? Certainly a bowl still to come from Olivia Bromfield, but an opportunity though for to lock it all up at 11 all. The bowl to come out on the forehand. Got it out on a very wide arc. Needs Jenny Stockford encouraging the bowl in. Not going to do so. Played on the wider, safe side. And very close was Olivia Bloomfield with her second bowl. Doesn't need to change very much.
I think she's going to run through the middle.
Well, there's a shot there to run through. The only thing
she
is,
can't afford it because she's got that third shot.
the only thing is you can get that split, and make contact. That'll still be one down. Don't look too long. It's not going to change. A word of coaching advice.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Make your mind up and play the shot.
Right.
They won't get away with this in the Australian Open.
Yeah. It's an interesting. Somebody said, when I was doing learning to junior coach, or being coached as a junior, they would always say, if you're directing your skip, don't tell the skip this hand or this hand.
Yeah.
Tell them one
Correct.
shot.
Correct.
And that's
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, the umpires in Australia, Jared, to be fair, are very, 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 very convincing about let's just play the game.
Right.
Let's get on with it. And this really is taking a long time to play one bowl.
Now, come on, Olivia, you were at the head. You should know.
Absolutely. So, mine's been made up. What weight to play to get to the shot bowl, and really, it's quite a bit of weight. And on the stalk as Blomfield.
Oh, through the gap. Gosh.
So after that very long discussion, nothing changed. Won the difference, 11-10 now. Olivia Bloomfield and Paris Baker leading Jenny Stockford and Joe McKenna of Point Chevalier. 18 ends, of course. And 11-10 now. And in the other semi-final, that's the game between Karen Hemer and Lisa Bordeaux up against Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen of Onehunga District. It is the Onehunga District side leading 12-11 after 12. And after scoring a 5 on the 11th end, and I think from just, I haven't got a scorecard in front of me, but I think that would be the first time that the Onehunga District side would be ahead in that
true.
semi-final.
Yeah.
So interesting. The jack has been lengthened up here by a couple of feet. So we'll see whether Jenny Stockford can take advantage of that. Certainly got the bowl out on a good line. That's one of the best lines that we've seen coming from Stockford. How's the weight? This is where we had the perfect line.
Now the real question is, can Paris adjust her weight?
Well, to me, Olivia's sitting number one down. Well,
it's obvious, isn't it?
now, again, this is what we were talking about before, Jared. That Olivia, so Paris Baker's going to draw the shot, but her consistency has actually been on the other hand. But a accomplished player and can play either hand now is doing just that. Opened the gate up, did the combination of Stockford and McKenna, and Paris Baker proving, what an accomplished young player that she is. Draws just alongside the jack and gets that ownership of the head very early on. And this bowl of Stockford's always look wide, force good weight, perfect weight. And it's so important now. You've got to one behind that when you change over, you're not 3 down.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be 2 down after this bowl.
Well, you should be, but
No,
you're
not. Well, Paris Baker was very disappointed with that because, There was, well, it could still be two, but it doesn't count. It's such a long way away. So in the other match now, it is 12-11. Oh no, the board's changing now. Sorry, just getting a change on that.
Jenny hasn't got that one either.
No, she has not.
No. Yeah, change your hand. Well, I don't normally like changing the lead's hand.
Well, this has been her most consistent drawing hand, and now they've got the shot sitting jack level, so pressure can very, very much go on the Point Chevalier side after getting right back into the match. And there's ample room here. And there's still the big thing now for the Point Chevalier combination with the first bowl is to get second shot. If we get the shot, it's a bonus, all right?
Yeah.
Well, what a change I've just seen again now in their other semi-final. 15-12 now to Karen Hema. And
they picked up a...
If I'm reading that right, they're on the bottom. We'll see whether Lisa Bordeaux's got the mat or not. If that's the case, it's now gone to 15-12 after 13 to the Cornwall side. Everyone's standing. I've got no idea what's going on.
They're probably waiting for a break. Here's the weather god is bringing out the sun.
So is that second and not going to...
She's really gone wide on that hand.
Oh, yeah, that's a nowhere.
That's a nowhere bowl,
That's certainly a nowhere bowl. And the pressure's really now on the Point Chevalier combination. New Lynn got... Well, to be honest, there is nothing to beat. So here is...
This is a nice bowl.
Still playing out on that wider side, which is fine, because you can play out there. There's plenty of room, and there now. I just hope that from Joe McKenna's point of view, she really watched that bowl, because that gave a very good indication of where that line is. And wide with the first, now just find that happy medium down around, and it was the Hema Prideaux side that scored, because I've just seen Lisa Prideaux deliver the jack. Now.
This looks narrow.
It certainly is. It's not. It's well.
And light. It was too soft as well.
To be exceptionally blunt, if you're going to play bowls of that sort of positioning on the head, you deserve to drop a big number. There's no. There is no excuses. And Olivia Bloomfield's narrow in. As she gets past the front bowl, she'll certainly have a counter. Needs a generous slide. Got the slide, sits there.
Slide,
There's at least 3, could be 4. If I look at the jack level bowl over there. And second shot's the name. Don't have to get the shot here.
McKenna's got one left, has she?
One bowl left. And
Bloomfield's got one,
But the whole concentration for Joe McKenna must be second shot. All that tweaks of the hand.
No, that looks narrow to me too. Well,
no, this is on a better line. This bowl, how's the weight coming down towards the head? Needs to get a bit of luck. Needs a bit of luck to get on the inside. Not going to do side.
That took a wicked deflection off some grass and just straight in. That didn't come back.
So this is disappointing for the Point Chevalier side after getting right back into the game.
Yeah.
Are going to
drop 3, at least 3, maybe 4.
Well, I'd literally call it a soft 3, Joe. A soft 3.
No, you're right.
Whatever number it is, it's a very, very soft number. And Olivia that's another counter as well.
Oh, look at that run on.
Certainly did, but there's nothing to beat.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, it did run on far too fast. Oh well, it's 4-5. Oh, long time.
I thought
a long string on this one.
I'd favour the jack level bowl, looking from here. and I can see in the Karen Hema game as they play in 14, Lisa Bordeaux has got a toucher, in fact.
Oh, well done, Lisa.
Sitting, and it's just drawn another one as well, right on top of the jack. And the men's semi-finals, as I said earlier, which will be underway the next round that we'll be covering, Danny Delaney and David Motu of Ellerslie up against Scott Harrison and Tony Marinkovic of Balmoral, and Richard Kempthorne and Roger Johnson of St Heliers.
Short.
They'll be up against Leif Selby and James Williams.
Short. Oh, no. Short. 3.
So a 3 was the indication, I think. If that's the case, it's now 14-10, 14-10 to the New Lynn combination of Paris Baker and Olivia Bloomfield. And it is 14-10 over the Jenny Stopford, Joe McKenna side from Point Chevalier. And after the Point Chevalier side had clawed their way back into the game, and they did have to claw their way back into the game to get within one shot of the New Lynn combination, and to drop then at what they'd be disappointed with about that 3 that they just dropped there, Jared, because you know that was a soft 3.
But there again, I think Olivia will be disappointed she didn't make it a 4.
Well, there was plenty of room,
Plenty of room there, yeah.
Yes, there was. Was that, you
the
know,
ball just ran on.
If you took the whole diameter of the head, there was a metre.
That was a metre, yeah. Yeah. And that's sort of the bread and butter practice shots that you do every time.
So, of course, this is Champion of Champions time for the Auckland Centre and Hunter Bowls. Thank you to Hunter Bowls for their support of these Auckland Bowls events. Of course, the Champion of Champions singles were held last weekend.
Yes, last week. Oh, no, the women were last weekend. The men were the weekend before.
Right, so they've been concluded. We've now got the pairs, the umpire out again to measure the length of the jack. So the pairs, we've got those underway now out in front of us. And then next weekend, we've got another round. Is it triples, 4s next weekend?
Triples next weekend.
Triples next weekend.
Champ triples and junior triples next
and
weekend.
Then the 4s.
And champ 4s and junior singles. And then eventually 2 weeks after that is the junior 4s. So there's a lot of bowls to come.
Well, I can tell you, for those who enjoy watching their bowls on the live streaming, it's Bowls New Zealand. Tamara, my right-hand lady, she's sitting on my left today, my left-hand lady. We've certainly got a full calendar of events. We'll be bringing you from around the country all the Champion of Champion events, which they'll be held in various locations. And we've got the National Inter Centre, National Inter Club. We've got the North-South match coming from Dunedin. We've also got the World Champion of Champions singles as well later on in the year, along with a host of other events as well that we'll be covering. So for the people that now here, 2 metre mark, haven't seen this before.
No, and Paris has got the mat reasonably mid as well. Yeah. So
they obviously had 2 attempts. Was there 2 attempts with the jack, obviously?
Yeah, 2 attempts, both short.
So first time in as we go to end 14 of 18. And here we've got a full-length head. And to me, this highlights immediately the ability of Paris Baker. She's drawn just past the 2 metre mark. Perfect line. Is about a metre over with the first bowl. And that's the sort of, just confirms really, isn't it, that a player with ability. Jenny Stockford is going to come up short with her first. And Paris Baker, as I said earlier, won the World Under-25 singles in the UK a couple of years back, and is a player who has got huge potential. And I'm not going to hide behind the fact I would certainly one day like to see her name in the hat to play for New Zealand for sure, because And now repeats with just a jack low bowl, just centimetres lower the jack. She set the head up.
She gets that first bowl as a sighter more than anything. Changed the length, so a little bit of a sighter on the first one and right on target for the second.
But immediately it sets the head up.
Yeah. Puts pressure on Jenny.
Good response here. It's the Point Chevalier lead. Just going to come by the centre line and the jack. And close to shot, in fact, actually. It's very close to shot. I'm just looking out the window here, and it's right in front of me, and is close to shot. And I see in the other semi-final, Lisa Bordeaux has got the mat again, so they've fought back well after dropping that 5.
Yeah.
And another good bowl coming
short,
here from...
She's short.
Going to come up short, but may still well count. Just sits in lower the jack.
Measure.
So measures the call.
Measures the call.
So the other semi-final, just waiting for the board to change. And that's 14 ends gone now. 18-12. 18-12. Lisa Bordeaux and Karen Hema of the Carlton Cornwall Club leading Janie Delaney and Doreen Jensen of Onehunga District. So can this bowler... No, on a great line again was Jenny Stockford. Needed to just get to her first bowl or her jack level bowl, and Olivia Bloomfield confirming to us that yes, it's a measure for shot, but the big advantage, of course, for Bloomfield is that she can play with confidence to that jack level bowl, and any movement certainly favours.
Yep.
They can either move the bowls into the head, get the shot bowl.
The most critical thing that Olivia needs to do is make sure she's got weight.
She can play ditch weight, really.
Yeah, but she can't afford to be short.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, she can afford to play to the jack, but she can't afford to be short.
You can be close in the game out here. Going to be wide though. And I agree. I think I'd be playing that line straight through to the blue, or I'd be more inside the line, trying to get either contact onto the pink bowls, or to dislodge the blue bowl.
Yeah, she can afford to be slightly narrow and up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to be able to meet her over the head, and that's it. If you're narrow, you get the blue ball on perfect. You'll hit the pink one up. You just got to roll it once, and you're fine. Takes the measure away.
So Auckland Bowls, no doubt, would be encouraged with that good participation we've seen here in the junior in the 1 to 5 pairs. That's a pretty good entry.
That's very good.
56.
It's a very good entry considering it was COVID affected. We had a couple more teams in there, and they've had to pull out at the last minute. So it's very encouraging. Yeah, definitely. And I haven't heard any feedback or anything negative from the players about the change of format as well. So that's really encouraging.
So on the backhand is Joe McKenna, which might be going to be short though. It needs to get past these two bowls of Paris Bakers to give themselves a chance on the head. At the moment, they're reliant on the measure being in their favour.
Yeah.
Whereas the Newland side have got everything in their favour. 18-12, Karen Hema and Lisa Bordeaux leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen in the other semi-final here of the Hunter Bowls champion and champion pairs. Olivia Bloomfield stayed right down on a bowl then at the point of delivery. That's always a good sign. Trying to get down to the shot, the bowl, the measure bowl. We'll get the shot bowl itself. Great attempt.
Not quite.
Could have done with another yard of weight.
Yard of weight, exactly. Just a fraction light.
Yeah. We'll wait and see what happens to this bowl here.
But Joe McKenna can't afford to be narrow. This is you're right about the percentages for Joe.
It's only a draw on the backhand. The danger is, I can see a shot here.
I can see a shot too. Not going to swing in.
I can see a shot here. I wouldn't be mucking around. No talking about this. You've got the back bowl playing through there, playing right through. No need to shake your hand delivery. It's pretty simple. Get down there on the backhand, play right through with ditch weight, try and get the shot bowl, or you can get through to the jack. Everything's in your favour. and it's interesting if I go back to my days at Okahu Bay, playing with the great Rowan Bressy. You know, Rowan was always one of those players that if the door gets open and there's no danger, you close the door.
Yeah.
And this is one of these opportunities right here, and full marks to Bloomfield. Certainly trying to play that shot to try and get down. I think it was on the other hand was the best option. Might get the side of this bowl and flick it in for shot, and will do.
Yeah, that last thing he wanted. He always said go narrow. You could afford to sneak under the head. You couldn't afford that.
No, that was wide of me. The other hand was fast, quick through the bowls. And Bloomfield missing the target there. So can Joe McKenna on the wider side? Does it have the weight? No, it won't.
And she gifted them two was the question, because that bowl that was in the measure hasn't changed.
Yes, there's the measure bowl which we you spoke about, and having a good look at it. Out comes the measure. Just looking from out the window here, the jack level bowl looks, it does look to hold a bit of an advantage.
Well, you would get your umpire's exam for that one, girl. You can be this side of the bowl.
It's deceiving, of course. We're not going to try and make a judgment from the cameras because that's difficult.
Two away.
That is two. So they sneak back 14-12 to the difference after 14 of 18.
Yeah, placing the match long again. Going to go for that long end, I think. Bit of confident there. Well, it was a bit of a more confident roll there from Jenny. Still through it 3/4 of the way, or half away.
$18, 12, Karen Hemmett and Lisa Bordeaux leading Doreen Jensen and Jamie Delaney of Onehunga District after 14 of the 18 ends. And here, of course, 14 of the 18 ends gone. And it is 14-12 to the New Lynn combination of Paris Baker and Olivia Bloomfield over the Point Chevalier side of Jenny Stockford and Joe McKenna.
So Jenny played her first bowl and she was narrow, and she's left the door open for, and Paris is short.
Well,
nice line, but just short.
To be fair to Paris Baker, she hasn't played many like that with her first bowl. Her first bowl effectiveness has been pretty good throughout this whole match, and it's what's really set the New Lynn side up for some quite convincing heads. Jenny Stockford now with her second is going to be wide and good weight, but certainly wide. And I come back to the length they're playing.
Yeah,
just lends itself to not being able to get that confidence and consistency on the draw. Paris Baker's also out wide with her second bowl. How far is this going to come back towards the centre line? To be fair, there's plenty of room.
Had a knock there, yeah.
I heard a knock in the microphone as well. And there's the Paris Baker bowl sitting Jack level. Imperative now. Jenny Stockford's got to draw right on top of the... Well, it was on a good line with this bowl is Stockford. How's the weight coming in towards the head now in the centre line? Made amends here, going to draw right in behind the jack in the centre line. Good bowl there from the Point Chevalier lead.
Stick to your forehand. The temptation is to come on your backhand to sit on the bowl, but stick to your forehand.
Well, as you rightly said, Gerard, this is where Paris Baker has held the upper hand. It's been about her consistency and staying on one hand throughout the the 15 ends that have been played. She'll be really disappointed with that.
She's gone wide
But
again. Gone wide again.
I just question, can so often get sort of tangled up because of the change of length. 18-13 now, the Hema Jensen game. 15 ends completed of 18, and it is the Carlton combination of Lisa Prideaux and Karen Hema are leading the Onehunga District combination of Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. 18-13 after 15 of the 18 ends. I see partner Leif Selby there leading over the fence, watching closely.
Phil.
And of course, Selby, the defending champion, will be playing shortly in the semi-final of the men's pairs here as we watch this bowl of Joe McKenna's. And I can't say it, well, I'll just keep saying it. That if you're going to change the length around, that's
what happens.
Wayward heads such as this just tend to happen, And, all top players will say it's about getting consistency. Olivia Blomfield on a good line here is going to get inside the shot bowl, getting applause early on. Here, sits on top of it, well played. Sat right on the shot bowl of Jenny Stockford. Yeah, Joe McKenna needs to follow that bowl on her backhand.
Actually, as Paris played her forehand, and as bad as her forehand shot was, at least it didn't block Olivia's backhand shot.
No, it didn't. So McKenna here endeavouring to make amends.
This combination of Paris, I think if you look at this combination backwards of Paris and Olivia, Paris plays her forehand really well. Olivia plays her backhand really well.
Good, absolutely.
And they're not getting in each other's way at the head.
Absolutely.
If one's short, wide, or indifferent. Yeah, and I think with Jenny Stockford swapping her hand every now and again, she tends to block Joe McKenna's shot.
It has happened quite a lot. As Olivia Blomfield just going to sail by it, but it really played the key shot with her first, drew right behind the jack and making shot of it. And Joe McKenna going to have a look at the head. Well,
you can look all you like, you're one down.
and there's only one shot really on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can spend a lot of time looking, but it's not really going to change. And it's only a draw, really, that can be played by the Point Chevalier side.
It's good to see the new Lynn shirt out there. I know that the girls may be a little superstitious. They were wearing those UBC shirts when they won the Champ of Champs in Dunedin, and they wore them yesterday just as a bit of luck. But it's good to see the new Lynn actual colour on the green. So well done.
Well, I agree entirely because you are in the champion events. You are representing your club.
Correct, your club.
You have won your club championship to get to here.
Yeah.
So that's who you're actually representing.
Yeah.
And I might be old-fashioned, but in my view, should be treated accordingly.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I know it's cold, and I know people wear hoodies and jumpers, but a lot of clubs have their club jackets.
They do. There's lots of colour, lots of... so here now, very, very big end here for the Point Chevalier side. One down, and of course trailing 14-12 as we come to the back end of the 15th. It's on has it got the weight? No. Well, it did have the weight, really, but missed the line fractionally. So it'll be the Newland side who will score, because there's still a bowl to be played by Olivia Blomfield. And they're holding the shot after her very, very good first bowl that just came in and rested.
I think if Olivia can repeat her bowl and just sit in there,
yes.
Even if she squeezes the jack slightly to the right, it wouldn't make much difference. So she's really playing up to that second shot bowl. She's not really playing for the kitty. Oh, that's a bit wide, I think.
Looked wide out of the hand on the way down. It looked as though it was going to be outside the blue bowl, and is going to be. So that's another end gone, though. So that's they'll be happy with that. Another end gone. And it is
15-12, it should be.
15-12. 18 ends, of course, these semi-finals and finals, and a time limit of 2 3/4 hours.
2.5.
2.5 hours.
2.5.
And yes, 15-12 is the call. So, Jack's been delivered right out in front of us here in the clubhouse at the Auckland Bowling Club. And the other semi-final, I can see the Jack being handed over to Jamie Delaney, and I think that would be a 1. That being the case if it is 18-14 after 16 ends, 18-14 after 16 of the 18 ends, with the Carlton-Cornwall combination of Lisa Bordeaux and Karen Hema leading the Onehunga district side of Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. I'll just check that. Yes, it is 18-14 after 16 ends. So, Paris Baker.
Jenny Stockford still hasn't got her range, eh?
Certainly, Jenny Stockford, very, very accomplished player. She'd no doubt be, I'd say, somewhat disappointed with her first bowl effectiveness. And Baker just going to come,
Short,
it's a half a metre lower the Jack, right on the centre line. And the big thing here now, as we go to end 16 for the New Lynn side, is that they just hide themselves from dropping a 3 or a 4. It's maximising, and a good attempt here from Stockford, but again short, and had a good line into the Jack.
I think you're right. I think from New Lynn's perspective, it's just ones from now on. Just get up there and protect that head. Yeah, protect that lead.
One's fine.
Problem is that sometimes if you play defensive, you lose it on a bit of a run shot from the point shifts, and you go like 5 down like the Carlton Cornwall team did.
So Paris Baker will be happy with this bowl. In fact, if she's over the head, and that's a good bowl, comes around the bowl of Jenny Stockford, finishes Jack level, and it's a good position for the New Lynn side, and only one bowl left here for Stockford on this, the 16th end, to endeavour to draw up a shot or second shot. 2 short bowls at this point, and this will be a third short bowl. It's a metre short, and it
3 ends to play and 3 shots behind. It just dropping. If you pick up 1-1-1, you're going to go to the tie break. So,
the lesson really is for the side that are trailing, that being the Point Chevalier side. The Jack for Jenny Stockford is a metre behind the Jack.
Right.
That's
where she needs to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
you just need to give a skip something to run to at the end.
You so often, get yourself into a very, very tricky position by trying to, dead draw and resultant you fall short. And so on the back end is Olivia Blomfield, New Lynn, holding the shots, playing up towards the road end here or the city end, say at Auckland Bowling Club. And it's gone over the head. You won't mind that at all, because the only shot that's available for the Point Chevalier side is to draw the shot. There's no other.
Well, other than that and run, you've got to be up there, and if you hit the kitty, it's going to spring back a little bit anyway.
3 short bowls don't give you a good starting point, so to speak.
They certainly don't. And I think in general, Jenny will be disappointed with some of her
Oh,
shots
absolutely,
today. Yeah.
absolutely. There's no doubt about that. So, Joe McKenna trying really hard to keep his side in the match. Going to draw the shot around the corner. Yes, she fell out.
Fell out.
But is it shot? It's close to it.
Oh, it's on the measure.
On the measure, as the Paris Baker was indicating.
Paris is indicating one down. That's hard to know.
So, we'll see Olivia Bloomfield.
Yeah, there was a bit of movement behind her at the back. I just saw some people walking around there. Just took her concentration away.
So on that backhand following the bowl of Joe McKenna's, which is just high of the jack, and it goes past his ears, it can get all the way through it.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that shot itself.
That's the shot itself. Well done.
And that's definitely the shot, and as it was indicated, well, the indication was that it was one down prior to that.
Yeah, I think they were indicating that Olivia was indicating one down. Yeah. Sorry, Paris was indicating one down.
So Joe McKenna now endeavouring to get to that shot bowl. We know it's definitely the shot bowl. It's going to get all the way down. Has it got the weight to crawl all the way down? No, it didn't.
Doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, just saw Paris Baker there confidently putting
Showing
the
one
one
up,
finger
yeah.
up.
Yeah, only problem is you've got to be careful with that one, Olivia. You don't want to hit it. And this is where you start making adjustments and you overcompensate here, there.
Well, of course, one roll or two rolls of the front bowl thereof, Joe McKenna's could put it in that position. And look, as it went past us to be.
She went over conservative and stayed wide.
Yeah. So, discussion going on of what shot to play. Well, my view, you play up to what was your bowl, which is just lower the jack there. You get two rolls under that bowl to make shot. The danger is you try and draw around it, you're going to force yourself wide. At least if you play inside it to your bowl, you're going to have the weight to get up to the head.
Yeah.
You're going to have the weight to get up to the head.
Yeah. If you're right, you hit your own bowl and you run with it. You suddenly make two out of it.
Well, the other thing is as well, Joe, that if you can score 16 gone,
Yeah.
you're still only two behind.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So it's really, it's not about trying to get a number on this head. It's a matter of trying to get one shot on this head, thus keeping yourself in the game.
Correct. Yeah.
And as we said, the other semi-final, that between Lisa Bordeaux and Karen Hema representing Carlton Cornwall up against Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen. It is Hema leading by 18 shots to 14 as they come down to near the completion of that of the 17th end. So what will Joe McKenna do? To me, the biggest thing is her opportunities. Well, if she's short, she's got no
No,
opportunity.
you got no luck. No. You can't. You won't get the ball. You won't get the shot if you're short.
So therefore, playing up to that front bowl, through that line, to me, with a yard of weight, is the best opportunity. Now, I'm somewhat surprised that Joe McKenna looks to be going to the forehand. Now, I can't quite see the result on the forehand with two other bowls lower their head. No, going to the backhand, surely. Looking now on the mat, looks as though it's a backhand. Yes, it is. And is playing with that sort of weight that we spoke about, endeavouring to get to the middle bowl of three to turn it
she's cut it
through the
she's
head.
cut her green
And
and short. And short. Paris
Well,
grabs the mat. Yeah, those two are happy.
all I'll say is that you're not going to win matches playing in that area, are you?
No, you're certainly not. No.
I'll be disappointed because I just think there was an opportunity of that yard of weight on the backhand yard through those bowls.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, the endeavourment was really a dead draw. So the jack will be delivered on by Paris Baker, again from New Lynn, in this Auckland Bowls Auckland Women's Champion of Champion pairs. And the men's semi-finals will be getting away after these, and have Danny Delaney and David Motu of the Ellerslie Club playing Scott Harrison and Tony Marinkovic of Balmoral. The other semi-final representing St Heliers will be Richard Kempthorne and Roger Johnson, and they'll be up against the defending champion side from last year, of course, and the New Zealand pass-by winners last year, that being Leif Selby and James Williams, and that will be the other semi-final. 16-12 now, 16-12 after 16 of 18 ends. Boy, there's two world champions standing together there, one indoor and one outdoor of years gone by. Leif Selby and Marlene Castle out there talking, because Leif, of course, won the world singles, and Marlene Castle a number of years back won the world women's indoor singles. So
when you say indoor singles, is this the little short mats or the lawn
no,
bowls?
this is in the UK.
Lawn bowls indoors.
Yeah, in UK. Because so what used to happen in years gone by, literally before the advent of the PBA, the winner of
look at this. Yeah, sorry.
the winner of the New Zealand men's singles and the winner of the New Zealand women's singles used to go to the UK to play. In the old days, it was known as what was called the Kodak World Indoor Singles.
Right.
And Marlene Castle went over there representing New Zealand, and I think good attempt here.
Did you represent New Zealand or her club?
Yeah, no, representing New Zealand. There's New Zealand selection.
Oh,
yeah.
New Zealand selection. Okay.
If I remember rightly, I think she beat Margaret Johnson of Ireland, in the Northern Ireland, in the final. Could be wrong, but it was definitely one of the home nation sides. Yeah. Or home nation singles players.
Who was Marlene playing for? Which club did Marlene play out of in those days?
Oh, could have been, but she was in North Harbour. I'm not 100%. Not 100% sure.
I know she's a Carlton Cornwall.
Yes, she is.
She was at Carlton Cornwall at one stage.
Certainly was at the old club.
Yeah, at the old club. Yeah. Well, she's still a member of the new club.
Yes,
of course,
she is.
But I just wondered what her other bowling clubs were.
And was a member at Only Hunger for a few years as well. Yeah. And before her retirement in 2004. Pretty good record. Represent New Zealand at 4 World Championships and 4 Commonwealth Games. So that's
it's not a bad record, is it?
Not a bad record.
Not a bad record. No.
And her daughter, of course, would have a New Zealand title. Raylene, who's now the CEO of Sport New Zealand.
Did Raylene win a bowls title?
With Mike Kernahan, won the New Zealand mixed pairs in Rotorua.
Oh God, there you are, eh?
Defeated Shannon and Amy McElroy in the final.
Well done. There you are. And was that straight mixed pairs in those days? Not the 2-4-2 that we've got today.
Look, I'm not sure.
All right. Okay.
I'm not sure really.
Now 2-4-2 is fairly a new thing.
Well, it was the Australian.
Certainly to the New Zealand calendar, anyway.
So here's Olivia Bloomfield on the mat, which could well be
the one down on the head, though.
They are one down, but
although 4 up on the board.
You know, you can. Well, it's a good play by Olivia Bloomfield, playing down over the head, and now Olivia Bloomfield can afford to. Now the other semi-final, all tightened up now.
Oh, yeah.
18-17 to Karen Hema. 18-17 to Karen Hema and Alicia Prideaux over Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen of Onehunga Districts as they play the last end. And this could well be the last end, depending on what happens. If Olivia Bloomfield elects to try and play down to get the jack. Just see behind me now the CEO of Bowls New Zealand, who no doubt was representing Riverhead in the.
I don't think he's playing in the juniors. Riverhead's in North Harbour. So
he's
not
just
here.
behind. He's
Has he got his shirt on, or has he got his which shirt's he wearing?
well, it could be Ponsonby.
No, he didn't. They didn't qualify. he played in the juniors. He didn't qualify. He lost his first game to some scrubber team, 21-3. I think he was lucky to get the 3, and then he lost the second game. Can't remember what it was.
There you go.
So he's out. He didn't qualify.
So is Blomfield going to now with her second bowl?
We'll let those comments out later.
We'll play for the Drac Trail. That's what she's doing, playing down to get to the shot bowl or Jack. She's close. She's close. Very close. And got the bowl out perfect.
What a shot.
Magnificent shot. Played with that yard of weight and duly got the reward for having the right line on that yard of weight. Now McKenna endeavouring to get Jack Trail, 18-17. The other semi-final, as I said, that's Lisa Bordeaux and Karen Hema leading Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen.
Oh, and Lisa Bordeaux's drawn right up under the jack.
I see that just through the window. Yes.
It's going to be it's a tight game then, isn't it?
So here's McKenna endeavouring to keep themselves with any chance at all. They're not going to do so. It's 3 shots to the Newlands combination, and it's great to see that bowl was played by Olivia, because I just think that they have waited too many ends to play some of those that I would call percentage attacking shots to get to you're not going to get them all, but it's certainly you can put yourself if you get a number of them, you're going to put yourself in a good spot. And here now, because all that's left for Doreen Jensen, for Joe McKenna, is to endeavour to draw, to score, to get 1, and this will be another counter from the Newland skip. I reckon they'll line 4 shots on this, the 17th of 18 ends.
4.
I just see Karen Hema indicating over there that it is Lisa Bordeaux who's holding 1 shot on this, the 18th end, with Hema and Bordeaux leading 18-17. And it is the Lisa Bordeaux bowl which is shot. So it's Joe McKenna now going to play her last bowl. This could be her last bowl of the match. She doesn't get the result here. Trailing 16-12. It was the combination of Joe McKenna and Jenny Stockford of Point Chevalier up against the Newland combination of Paris Baker and Olivia Blomfield, leading by 16 shots to 12. The other semi-final, I tell you, is it Hema Bordeaux leading 18-17 as they play the last.
Lisa's still holding 1 shot there.
Lisa Bordeaux holding the shot. Shake hands time. It is shake hands time in the semi-final out in front of us. And it is the Newland combination of Paris Baker and Olivia Blomfield of the Newland Club, who have defeated Jenny Stockford and Joe McKenna of Point Chevalier. I think it was a 4 on that last end. If that's the case, I'm going to say it was a 20-12 win to the Newland side. They'll now play the winner of the very tight tussle here, that between Lisa Bordeaux leading with Karen Hema of Carlton Cornwall and Jamie Delaney and Doreen Jensen of Onehunga Districts. And as we sign off, it is 18-17 to Karen Hema and Lisa Bordeaux as they play the last end. And we'll be back shortly, we'll be back soon with the semi-final of the men's pairs, which will see the combination of Danny Delaney and David Motu up against Scott Harrison and Tony Marinkovic, and Richard Kempthorne and Roger Johnson up against Leif Selby and James Williams. This is Kevin Hickland from the Hunter Auckland Bowls champion pairs, and we'll be back shortly.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. All the best.